The name of the show is The Way to Go. My name is Alan Bendich. I'm going to be your host. Tonight's guest is the remarkable Max Bendich. How are you? How are you, Dad?
I'm fine. When I see you, it's beautiful.
I know.
Life is good.
Thank you. So I guess we're going to go talk about the further adventures of Max Bendich.
Right.
And, you know, I guess not many people your age, which is what?
98.
Oh, 98 and a half?
98 and a half. A little more than 98 and a half, a few weeks.
Yeah, a few weeks more.
Pushing 99 slowly.
Right. But very few people, I think, who are in your age group are actually doing some of the things that you're involved in now. And I guess lately, you know, I mean, I've been doing acting, and you secured a couple of jobs as an actor in the last couple of months, right?
Right.
Would you like to? You want to talk about the first one? We could talk about Psychotics, okay? Do you remember? I mean, basically, you were with two beautiful girls, and I played the director. And what was that like, being on that set?
Alan, it's a new life.
Right.
It's a life that I never thought it would be.
Yes.
And I had fun.
Right.
Alan, the whole thing is you have to have fun. If you do something, I mean, why? Again, it makes you feel good, it makes a person feel good,
Right.
and everything else.
But on that set, I guess, it was interesting. You were playing like, we had a movie within the movie. It was like, I was making believe I was the producer and director of a show, and you were the leading man of the show. So it was really an interesting thing. And you had these two beautiful girls on each side. I mean, how did that feel to you? I mean, it must have been great.
I like women. It must be that way, you know. I like to be with them, and everything here is good.
Right.
I mean, I'm an optimist now,
Right.
and being an optimist is, if possible, to be with not one beautiful woman,
Right.
but you have two arms. This is going to have two.
Right.
And
it was good. So anyway, so after that, I asked you the question if you wanted to possibly do other films. So I started submitting you for other films, and one of the films that you auditioned for. First of all, how did the audition come about? I mean, I guess they came to your house, right? A nice person came to your house.
the truth, Alan,
Yes.
I'm not lying. I don't remember that.
Okay, no, I'll tell you what happened. Basically, they came to your house and spoke with you. There was a guy that came, and there was a woman who came to your apartment. Instead of you having to go to the audition, they actually came to your house, and or to your apartment, and you spoke for a few hours, and then they liked you, and they wound up taking you to a location. What location was the it was called Waltzing Through Life. And what location did they take you to?
To the Sheep Meadow.
Right.
in Central Park.
Right.
And again, I used to work.
Right.
Didn't I work in that neighborhood?
Right.
On Central Avenue, on
Central Park.
Central Park.
West, I think it was, right.
Central Park, and it was 1 block away. Sheep Meadow. I
Yeah.
never was there, Alan. I don't.
And you know,
understand.
Sheep Meadow actually, I just remember during the 60s, Sheep Meadow is where they had be-ins, they had demonstrations against the war in
Right.
Vietnam, and I went there, David went there, your other son, and we used to, I mean, it was a place during the 60s and 70s where the hippies, used to hang out.
That's all right.
So what happened? You go down there with David, and what happened?
And first of all, we had made up on the corner of Central Park and
Right, to meet.
And we waited and waited and waited.
Well, that's part of, well, the other thing is about movies, it never starts when they say it's going to start.
No, but they told us to wait on that spot. We waited on that spot.
Right.
They went and they thought they waited, and finally, David arrived here. Look, this man is standing looking for him. How about going over and ask him? Sure enough, we went over there. Oh, come on, we're waiting for you. Where were you?
I know, and they called me. And I was working that day. I couldn't go, unfortunately, because I was doing some preparation in my other job.
So we
Yes.
went there, and first of all, it's a beautiful walk.
Right.
And we came over to a few people, and they introduced themselves to us,
Right.
and they said that, and they said, come on, we want to, it's called The Way,
It was called Waltzing Through Life.
Waltzing Through Life,
Right.
or something else,
Right.
The Love Story.
No, it ended up it became Elapse, ultimately. That was the name of it.
Yes.
Elapse.
Elapse.
Right.
And it shows you eventually how
So
that
basically,
elapsed.
so you get there, and what's the first thing they do? Do they, you're standing around, right? They had no...
We're standing around,
Right.
and they're trying to find a spot. They're examining this spot, and they're examining, and they've pictured it,
Right.
and finally they settled on that one spot that
Right.
we're there. And they told us what we had to do,
Right.
and we did it. Now, even though the story takes with 6 different people, I
Right.
mean, altogether, we never saw those people.
Right.
They were taken a different time, but about the same spot.
Right.
With me, they told me, look, you're the old couple,
Right.
and remember, you're going to have a flower, that flower, they gave me a flower, the rose.
Right, I
When
remember.
you see it, you have to wear it in your pocket.
Right.
And we wore it in my pocket. And then, as we started, all right, as we start dancing, I spoke to the lady, introduced myself to her, she introduced myself, and we talked, and we started to dance.
How about, wait a second. Instead of talking about it, would you like to share it with our studio and not studio audience, but our audience?
What?
Would you like to share it with them?
Sure.
Okay, so you know what? Let's take a look at it. It's a 2-minute short film, and Max Bendich is one of the stars. So enjoy.
I don't.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Wow. You know, I showed it to some of the people at work, and one woman who I showed it to, who I showed another one where I was in a silent film that was about my daughter who had passed away. She cried on that movie. She cried at this movie too. It's a really heartbreaking. I mean, it speaks for itself basically. At the end, when you're left alone, it reminded me so much of when Mommy passed away. You know.
But believe it or not, you don't know it. You don't know it. You're doing what you're told by the director, and it's coming along fine, and everything is fine. You know when you know it? When you see it on the screen.
Now, Daddy, when you saw it for the first time, what did you think?
I flipped, my God, that's me doing this thing over here. And you, remember, the other ones we don't see, you only see me and that lady.
Right.
And we were clipping, Alan, we went, wonderful. Whatever they had told us, we were doing.
Right.
Without a stop, we were, and all of a sudden, I went like this. When she turned around,
Yeah,
I
well, we
looked,
saw
and
it.
she's gone. And it was
But you know, Daddy, you have such. I mean, again, you told me earlier you never see yourself in profile. When you put your cheek next to her cheek, it's so both. It has a meaningfulness to it.
First of all,
you know, it's so
remember,
meaningful.
how it starts, and it still was going on so many years.
Right.
She's my wife,
I know.
and we knew, again, from experience, we knew both of us weren't going to die at the same time.
Right.
And that's the whole thing about life. You and your wife, one of us. So it doesn't mean anything actually, but it actually.
But it's so meaningful because you see in the movie the little girl determined.
Oh, when you
to go up to
saw-
come to you as a
Yes.
young boy, and how the relationship lasts until she's gone, and she's the one who makes the first move.
Alan,
you know?
that first, that when I saw that happen.
Yes.
Remember, we don't see that happen. We are.
Right.
We were told.
That's in post-production. I mean, that's with other
and
actors.
That look on her face
Yeah.
when she went to pick up that flower.
And then she goes like this with her head going down like that.
Then, you know, picking up that flower,
Right.
looking at it, and now she's looking at it. She sees that young fellow sitting there by himself,
Right.
dreary, doesn't know what's happening. They're young,
Right.
and when she walks over to him,
That's the biggest. That walk
That's
is one of
right.
the toughest walks in life, right?
that's, you know why? Again, where I am now in Cathay House,
Right.
the most people want to be with each other.
Right.
How do they meet? And it's the most difficult, no, really,
Right.
when you think about it, and I talked about it many times,
Right.
the most difficult time for a man or a woman to go over to the other one
Right.
and say, look, I see your face,
Right.
it's a beautiful face. Is there any way possible that I can go with you or to
Right.
do something? It doesn't happen.
And you know what? I think also, and again, I'm getting older, but I haven't achieved that age yet. But I think with all the history that you accumulate in 98 years, be it having a spouse that passes away or just everything, it makes it even tougher because of you're so ingrained on who you are, and most people who are ingrained in who they are aren't like you. They're not optimistic anymore. They're not the happiest people in the world. Am I wrong?
Not that you're wrong or if you're right. Listen, the way I looked at it,
Right,
I was married for 68 and a half years.
right,
So what do you do in those 68 and a half years? You never speak to a woman, another woman. You never go to dance with another woman. You never do this with, do I walk with them and I do this? Your life is set.
right.
You know together, and believe it, you talk about this. You know that you're not going to die at the same time.
Right.
We never talk about death.
Right.
We don't talk about it. And eventually it happened. You were there. I was there. It happened. And a new life was born at that time.
Right.
So what do I do now? In Kate House, I made it my business. I like people, Alan, I like people. All of us. And I saw that the new people coming in, they come in chairs or
Right.
something. No one talks to them, Alan. Wait, except when they finally come to a table, there are 4 people. We
Table meaning for dinner?
for dinner, for lunch. We have
To eat.
To eat. When
Right.
they come to eat, they will talk. But again, sometimes it works that they want to meet people, they want to talk to people, but it doesn't happen. How? I'll tell you that with me. You either go over to a person and say, can we have a dance? That's a way of introducing
And
them.
how often do you guys dance?
No, we dance once a week.
Okay.
It's called,
Is it social or?
well, I forgot.
Okay, it doesn't matter what it's
I know
called.
the name of it. No, but we come together, and we're sitting all over the place, and there's a piano player, and he plays dance music. And I have about 3 or 4. there are no, seriously.
I know, I
there
believe-
are 3.
I
I'm
believe
the
it.
only, Alan, I'm the only one.
Really?
90% of the time, I go over to one of the ladies, and I'm dancing. No one else is dancing.
Wow.
Eventually, a man and woman, and sometimes another man. Sometimes you'll have 3 couples on the floor, but they're all waiting to be asked. They're waiting to be asked.
Are people disappointed if they're not asked?
I really don't know. It's what a beautiful question. It isn't the idea that they know that there are other women. There are more women than men.
Right. Are they in better health? I mean, what do you think the reason is? I mean, because you live there now a few years,
Yeah.
what stops the guys? Is it like what happens with younger people? Is it the fear of rejection that stops people from doing it, or are they not interested? What do you think?
No, they are. Just they are interested.
Right.
They don't remember. As I told
Oh, they
you,
forgot how to do it.
Yeah, they don't know how to do it,
Oh.
except
Yes.
when I'll say, "Come on, I want you to meet this lady," or "I want you to."
Have you helped people become couples?
And once they're introduced,
Yes.
you leave them, and or you talk with them for a few moments,
Right.
or you play cards with them,
Right.
and that's when I met. She became my
Your girlfriend.
I'll talk about it a little later, and that's the only way.
Right.
And it breaks my heart.
Right.
Why? Because the way I've talked to the people, I talk to Alan, I talk to
yeah.
everyone, and the old expression is, and I'm not bashful. This lady could be sitting in a wheelchair, and I go over, and then I look around, she's wondering, and I said, if I'm not, I told you that before, the one I love the one I
And it
need.
works every time, right, Pop?
It works every time, and we laugh and we do this and
Right.
and even with men.
Right.
A man actually, I spoke to this man when he came in on a wheelchair.
Right.
And about a week, or maybe longer than a week, he goes over to one of the managers and says, "You see that man, meaning me?
Yeah.
He's the only one who has ever spoken to me since I've been here." So
And how heartbreaking. I mean,
it's heartbreaking. So what did I actually do? I said to the manager, "Look, I didn't even know what I was talking about. I said, let's have a weekend, a senior weekend,
Right.
where you have two men and you put two men on one and
Right.
two women, whether they hate each other, whether
Right.
they love it. Eventually, let people know to come together."
well, Dad, I know that you're like really, I mean, you've met women, you've had a good time, but something else happened recently, right? I mean, I can't believe it, because out of everyone I've ever known, other than color blindness that you had, you always had like crystal clear, perfect vision. Like I think you were a sharpshooter during World War II. I mean, you probably could have been a pilot with your vision. So, right?
Wait a minute, can we go? I
What?
want to tell you, that's the truth. I'll
Yes.
go back.
Okay, you can go back.
But wait. So I'm in basic training,
Right.
and they're teaching us how to use a rifle. I never saw a gun, I never saw anything. But so they line you up, and you're about 100 yards or I don't know how many yards. There's a little hill climb, and it's full, and they have a target.
Right.
They pull it up, you don't see them, and you're shooting at the target. And this group came, finally my group came over. So now I was watching them do what they do. I got on the floor, took the rifle. It's not a hard thing to do, but you have to put the string or the
Strap?
that's right, around this way. And
Uncomfortable?
And the lieutenant is hollering at me.
Yeah.
Finally, my buddy next to me, "Lieutenant, maybe he's left-handed." I said, "What? I'm left-handed." Never shot before, Alan, Nola.
Yes.
So finally I got down there. I know how, what is it to shoot a rifle? At the end of the rifle, there's a little thing like this.
Right.
And near the bending, there's a little line here.
Right.
You have to put that in between those things, aim it at the
Target.
Fine.
Yeah.
I got up there, I never shot in my life, Alan. And I'm looking, boom,
Bullseye.
bullseye. Wait a minute.
Wow.
And that was,
Right.
you talked about a medal. Boom, bullseye.
Uh-oh.
The first three, boom, no lie.
Right.
This is what actually happened.
I believe you.
Wait a minute, now it's unbelievable. My buddy next to me screams out, "You're crazy, what are you doing? You're going to become a sharpshooter. The first thing the enemy does is kill the sharpshooter." He scared me, Alan, he
Right.
scared me.
Right.
No kidding. So it was like that, boom, boom. But I had enough points.
Right.
I got myself a marksman medal.
Right.
I
I know. But so basically your vision was perfect. Except for the color vision,
All right.
color blindness. What happened recently?
No. So, a few weeks ago, quite a few weeks ago, I go to the VA. The VA is a Veterans Administration. It's a hospital for veterans. And it's right across the street. Our Cathay House is on Webb Avenue, the street, one side, and the other. On one side is Webb Avenue, Cathay House. On the other side, the Veterans Administration.
It's a
We
big
both-
hospital. It's
look,
nothing's bigger.
for the veterans,
Right.
Alan, and they're doing a wonderful job.
Right.
So-
And your nephew Stevie Bendich used to work for them.
Oh.
He was a psychologist
Well,
for them. But we'll talk about that later.
Remind me,
We will.
it's unbelievable.
And we did talk about it in other episodes, but we could talk about it again.
All right. So I go over there, and I said, "I think I need a pair of glasses, but I think I want my eyes examined." That's the first time. Fine. All they do is to say, "Get a referral from your from the
Right.
doctor."
Right.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Get a referral from the doctor and go over to wherever they send you. So I got the referral from the doctor, and I go and get my eyes examined. And they found out this eye almost perfect. I mean, they asked you to the fifth line almost down.
Right.
This eye, a little fuzzy and a little thing. So they made an examination for me.
Right.
eventually they came. I went had the examination, and they said, "All right, we'll get you glasses. It's a little this way," but that's all they told me. Again, a few weeks after that, with the glasses, I still can't see so well. I went down there, and they said they're going to send me to an optician. This was for glasses people, and he's going to examine me. He examined me with light, with drops in my eyes, and he'd doing things. And he says to me, "Mr. Bendich, you have cataracts." Cataracts? Please. I never had them in my life.
Right.
Now, most of the people have cataracts, not when they're 98, when they're 80 or 70. No,
Right.
really. I never had it. And here I explained me cataracts. He said it's a buildup on the lens or doing this, and he explained it to me.
Right.
And I suggest that you have a cataract operation.
Right.
Fine. I mean, look, so far the Veterans Administration did well for me.
Mm-hmm.
So we made an appointment. I went down there, and they got me ready and everything else. What they did, I don't know. It was a lot. Now you see, I'm touching you.
Yes.
That's what you feel.
On your eye?
I don't know how long they were.
On your eye?
On your up. No.
Oh.
No, anywhere.
Yeah.
You don't feel anything.
Oh, he's saying it doesn't hurt.
It didn't hurt. I didn't even know what was going on. And you're up. And eventually they say it's all over.
Right.
Now, but they're putting, again, it scared me a little. You have to wear a patch.
Right.
This patch is a patch with holes in it, and I have it with tape around my face. And what does it look like? For Halloween, one of the
One-eyed Jack, a pirate.
That's what they were calling me, the One-Eyed Jack.
That's funny.
And little by little, I got by putting on drops and
Right.
putting on everything, and I was able to take the patch off. And now
Yes.
I went to get an examination, and they said, "Well, it's a little swollen yet. Take these drops and come and see me in a month." And he told me every 4 hours, every 2 hours, and that's what's going on right now.
Okay.
Now, do I see better? Yes.
Good.
But this eye, fine. This eye is still a little fuzzy, maybe because there still might be a swelling.
The swelling?
Right. And that's how it is up to this time.
So Dad, you're happy you got the surgery? You know who else got surgery, by the way?
No.
And he has to have a second surgery. Stevie Bendich. We're talking about him again, the guy from the VA hospital. And he's a young man. He's like 64 years old, and he's going. The first one didn't take care of it, so he has to go again.
See?
But there's all different kinds of cataract, and there's different kinds of laser surgery that they do to. Does he want to have? He can get lenses put in that could be both reading and.
No.
They could do those type of things.
He asked me that.
Right.
My reading, with this eye,
Yes.
reading is fine. I have glasses.
Right.
But the glasses are for reading only.
Right.
And it shows you why, I don't know, but 98 years old,
Yeah.
this eye is terrific. This eye can be better. But not only is this eye, it's going to be better. Everyone tells me the same thing.
Okay. The other thing is, are you excited? Okay. Good. So you're fine. Are you excited about further acting projects?
After doing this one thing, I've seen it. It's on YouTube.
Right.
And anyone can do it.
It's on. It's not on YouTube.
Well,
it's on what's it called again? It's on Vimeo. That's what it's called. Vimeo.
Vimeo.
Right.
And about 6 or 7 numbers.
Right.
You type.
But it's really wonderful. And you have an audition coming up on Tuesday to play a grumpy old man, which you're not, but I think you could do it. And I'm really excited. And I keep on submitting you. I have, even though you don't have an email address, I set you up with email address. I submit stuff for you. And you get some bites, and you got a bite during the time that you were having your surgery, but you couldn't do it because
I was doing the
you're having the surgery. But I hope that you do well. I'm looking forward to what happens with the with future projects.
Alan, I hope, like you said,
Right.
I hope there's going to be future.
No, there will. There definitely will.
Yeah.
But you know what else the future has in store for us, Daddy?
That's what?
You know what the future has in store for us?
No.
Something sad.
What is that?
Dad,
I'm not going to.
It's, hello? It's a wrap. Take care, everybody. Good night.